You always do this.
It says live in the corner.
Oh, there we go. All right. What is going on, everybody? Frankie here for the Bakersfield Gentlemen. And to my left, you're right. For the first time in a long time, we have Mitch sitting in for a very special reason. We actually decided that we were going to quarantine Miguel off screen and just keep him away, as you guys I know prefer. But that being said, you guys, as we've been promoting for the past week or so, we have a couple of very special guests on the show. Alec and Bradley Rubin. As soon as you heard that we were having them on, you're like, dude, I want to be on that show. Yeah, and we were like, that's the first thing we thought about is, Mitch, you got to be on the show. Right. For those of you guys that have been longtime fans of the show, you know that Mitch is our go-to guy, anything Alec Bradley related.
Right. We know.
They know, yeah. That's how bad it is.
So Kevin, Tom, Samuel, Matt, how you guys doing? Thank you guys for joining us right away. If you guys do us a favor, share this with you guys. We're taking questions from both YouTube and Facebook. And, of course, at the bottom of the screen on the ticker, you guys, you will see that we are running specials for the duration of the show. These are available at all three Cigars and More locations, Cigars and More Bakersfield, Cigars and More 2, Cigars and More El Segundo. So we have the number for the shop here because that's just the one that we're at. But you can look up any of the three locations and get these deals at any one of those spots. So what's going on to Western Australia? Wow. So, Mitch, you want to make some introductions for the gentleman?
I think they can introduce themselves.
I just want to make sure you get a chance, man. So guys, we'll start with Alex. Yours is the first name, and Alec Bradley. We'll start with you. You want to introduce?
Go ahead.
Always comes first. No, I'm just messing.
What's going on, Frankie? What were you saying?
Oh, just say if you want to, introduce yourself. Tell people whatever you want to tell them, that they know who you are.
So I'm Alec Rubin. My father, Alan Rubin, owns Alec Bradley Cigars. To the top that way, that's Bradley Rubin. That's my younger brother, also known as the second name in Alec Bradley. Unfortunate for him. And that's about it. We make cigars, smoke cigars, and we're happy to be here.
Fantastic.
And as Alec mentioned, I'm Bradley Rubin, 5'8", but actually 5'7". I wear 9.5. I wear a 10 size shoe, but 9.5 in Nikes. I'm a new owner of this proud mustache right here.
Love it, by the way.
Now, are you leasing that, or did you buy that right out?
The mustache? Oh, yeah. Well, I had to go to a special online store.
Layaway.
Yeah, it took about a month or so, but we got there.
Yeah, I'm digging it.
Well, we are glad that you're making that journey. We're glad that we're a part of it with you. So you guys, we've got a bunch of questions that we got thrown to. We've talked to people over the last week when we were doing the shows, but we do have a quick question coming up on Facebook. It is from Richard over in Western Australia, and he is asking, what do you guys think of the Filthy Hooligan?
I smoke the Filthy Hooligan all the time, and usually, I always save a box or two for myself, but I smoke them, and then we end up selling out because it's our limited edition, and then I have to wait God knows how many months to just get the next year in. So it's usually my morning go-to cigar until I run out and have to wait until St. Patrick's Day again to get more for myself.
And I mean, I agree with Brad. He's actually a little bit more of a nerd about the Filthy Hooligan than I am, but I definitely appreciate that cigar for what it is. We took something as traditional as a Candela and kind of changed it up a little bit, adding the barber pole to it. So with a Candela, you have those grassy, bitter, creamy notes. But when you add that barber pole to it, it kind of cuts the grassy and bitterness, and then you're left with that nice creaminess on your palate. So I think it's an absolute phenomenal cigar.
Yeah, and if I know Mitch, he probably still has the original all Candela.
I have two.
At least. That's what I'm saying. I know. And I feel like you probably smoked one for St. Patrick's Day as well. Like you probably had 3. There you go. I see. Yep. I know this guy.
Is it that predictable, huh?
We've just known you for a while, Mitch. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's predictable, but it's. I know that you love our brand, which we can't appreciate enough, and I know that if you have that you hold on to your cigars and you wait just like us for special moments, the right time to smoke a cigar. So I figured you still had the originals, and I figured you probably smoke one on St. Patrick's Day.
Yep. I have not had the Shamrock yet, though, just because we don't have it here locally yet. But
I would say I could get you some, but I don't have any myself. So
yeah.
Well, I know when your birthday is now, so we'll have to get that. We'll get that figured out.
Awesome.
I forgot to mention, we started to show you guys what everybody's smoking. Mitch, you wanna start that off?
Sure. I am actually having Gatekeeper, which is
nice.
a piece of Alec and Bradley.
And I'm doing the Blind Faith. You guys see that right there?
I'm joining you with that Blind Faith.
And I'm smoking the new Kintsugi blend.
Again? Where do you
Nice.
keep getting this from?
Oh yeah,
Those last night too.
exactly.
Okay, so here's what happened. When this quarantine started, Bradley must have stolen every sample from the office because I have not been able to find one, and he's smoking it on every live thing that we do, and I have no clue where they are.
I gotta promote. I'm promoting the brand, big bro.
There you go.
No, I could do that too.
I'm
okay?
also enjoying. I'm also enjoying the cigar a lot. So
Where are they? If you say my apartment, I'm gonna be pissed.
trade me something. I'll let you know.
Trade me.
My name is on them too. Okay.
There's
man.
actually it's not.
That's
True.
true.
Yeah.
Richard said he's smoking the Lost Art, and Robert says that he loved the Gatekeeper and wondering if the Sanctum will come back.
We
I've
just
been
talked
hearing
about
that.
the Sanctum earlier today.
Yeah, I've been hearing that a lot lately, but I don't think that's coming back. I wish, but I
Okay.
don't see it happening.
Its original intent was for it to come back. We'll see if that happens.
Okay. We still have some here at the shop, so if you're interested, feel free to give a call or email down below. There should be some right behind me somewhere. I know it's around here somewhere, but we have it right behind Frankie's head.
I got a big head, guys.
Hold on, excuse me for 1 second.
All right. Well, Alec just leaves the live stream. Let me ask you guys something. What are you guys doing during all of this to get people their cigars? Are you guys doing curbside or shipping or some local delivery or?
We are, yeah. We're doing the
All of the above.
all the above. Miguel and I will run the contactless delivery service. We have the front door pickup here, as well as they can call in and we can ship out orders as well. So anything to help out the community, they're doing that right now.
Nice, good job, guys.
And I can still hear everything. That's awesome.
So you guys, we have a couple of questions. I'm sure you guys get a lot, but we're still going to ask.
Yeah.
What was your first cigar that you smoked?
First cigar I ever smoked was with my father, I think on my 18th birthday, and I had the Max. First cigar, Max Nano, actually.
Okay.
So the smallest size of the Max.
Have you had that?
Yeah.
Mine was a Tempest, again on my 18th birthday with Alec and my dad. I actually couldn't quite figure out how to smoke it correctly. It took me, I think, until my third cigar, which was our Connecticut, and Alec actually taught me how to smoke the cigar properly. He said, smoke it like you're drinking water through a straw. And that was the best advice that I've ever had in my time smoking cigars. So it helped me out a lot.
Okay. Interesting.
Fantastic. Charles is saying hello, crew. Where we at? I lost.
Kevin the Hitman Casey's on.
Yep.
Awesome.
Oh, see, you found them.
So what is your pairing of choice when you're having a cigar? When you get to sit down and actually relax with the cigar. If you're not, doing blends and that kind of stuff, you just get to sit down and enjoy yourself. What's the drink of choice you're gonna grab?
For me, it's always whiskey, or that's not true. Whiskey or coffee for me. If it's in the morning, I'll have it, with with espresso, and in the afternoon it's whiskey, whether it be Scotch, Irish whiskey, or American whiskey.
Yeah, if I'm pairing or whatever, usually it's a whiskey. Usually something Alec gifts me because he's always coming back with random bottles to pass on to his little brother, which is always nice. But if I am not smoking, but I just want to drink, if I'm having a beer, I actually prefer a sour beer because I think it's something kind of funky and different. And I know most people will probably say they're disgusting, but something about a sour beer that is it's really refreshing.
That's fantastic. You wanted to get some questions as well, Mitch?
Well, I kind of gave him all my questions because I was thinking he was gonna say them all. But so I was wondering. I'm sure most of the viewers know, but you guys actually have your own cigar brand, Alec and Bradley. Now, obviously, there's a lot to a business, but as far as learning about tobacco, it's not something that you just know one day. You know, did you have like a sit down with your dad? Did you go down, to Honduras with him? Was there any kind of like formal training, or was it like, hey, you guys are of age now. If you want to get into this, let's start smoking some cigars and you'll learn as you go?
So we started smoking just from the time we were 18 because we saw our father, or at least for me, I saw my father's passion. It was always something I wanted to try, but the rule was you can't start till you're 18. And then I thought I could learn everything about tobacco from the computer, from the internet, or just from asking my father and Rob questions. And I didn't realize for the first time that I was 100% wrong until I went down to Central America for the first time.
Okay.
And when I went down and took that first trip, I realized there is such a vast amount of knowledge that I do not have.
Right.
And the only way for me to gain that is from being down here in the fields, in the factories, and just, doing that, being down there constantly and getting that experience. So it wasn't that we were forced to go down there, but Brad and I were given the opportunity to go down, and we both jumped on it. And I mean, just been doing that ever since.
Yeah, and I've seen that there's a balancing act when we go down to the factories, because the goal is to blend and find a cigar and find what's the next cigar we're going to release. But because Alec and I are new and young, there's a lot that's learning. So yeah, do we want to be blending the entire time? What are we going to come out with next? That's fun and cool and this and that. But we also have to learn. It's almost like you're going on a school field trip a little bit, and you have to learn every step. And just because you go there once doesn't mean that you've learned it all. So every single time we're down there, we try and make time for learning and time for work as well, which it's part of the same thing. But the exciting part is the blending, and we need to not focus so much on that, but try to gain experience and learn as much as we can about the leaf itself, so we can grow and become better at this as we go on.
Okay.
Fantastic. Yeah. So Tom says that he's a new cigar smoker, started summer of 2019, and he's tried the Gold Crown and the Puck, and he wants to know if you guys can make any other suggestions on a must-try Alec Bradley cigar that's medium to full-bodied.
So I believe the Gold Crown and the Puck are both exclusives for an internet catalog company. And if you were going to try something from our core line, something that, and I'm sure Mitch would agree with this, something that's very easy to go to that is almost a guaranteed is Tempest Natural. I don't think I've met any person that hasn't liked it, I haven't met one person that's disliked it. Everyone either likes it or loves it. But I think that's the perfect go-to for a core line of Alec Bradley.
So I had two thoughts in my head. That was one of them. But
and then Coyol.
No, not Coyol, because he likes medium to full. And I think Coyol is straight medium. But I would say our black market is the number one cigar for people that haven't tried Alec Bradley to try. It's just above medium, so it's in that medium to full range, and it's got so much flavor of sweetness and some some pepper in there that I think it really hits all the notes for a beginner cigar smoker and an advanced cigar smoker. So I think it's good for everyone.
I agree.
That was a good question.
Very good question.
So what hobbies do you guys have that are maybe outside of the cigar industry? When you guys want to go and unwind and do something, what do you guys like to do?
For me, I'm a big foodie, so I just like going to different restaurants, trying different things. I love movies, but other than that, I mostly just smoke a lot of cigars.
Damn. Well, if sports were on, if hopefully football comes back and I could just watch. I'm waiting for the draft tonight to see how the Dolphins are gonna, disappoint me for another year. But I love sports and grew up watching sports my whole life, and then kind of a nighttime activity. If I can go out and listen to some live music and dance a little bit to some disco music, that's always a fun time.
You've got the stash for it. So.
I know. It's very fitting that I like disco music with this face thing going on here.
Now, for Miguel and I, when we went to our first trade show, it was IPCPR a few years ago. We were overwhelmed, and we'd never been to anything like that. We've been to smaller cigar events here and there. We host one here in town with about, I think, 7 to 10 different vendors. What was it like for you guys going to your first trade show where you guys were on the business end of stuff? What was that like?
Yeah. Okay. So you said on the business end, because I think our first time that we stepped into the trade show, we were actually like 10 and 13 or something like that, but it was only for a second just to see what it was, and we were right back out. My first time going for business was extremely overwhelming because I had no clue what to do. I studied up on all the products as much as possible just to make sure I had a base of what I was talking about. And then I basically just worked for everyone else there and did whatever they told me to do. It was a lot and extremely overwhelming for someone's first time, no matter who you are, I think.
Oh yeah. My first experience was terrible. I started working about 2 or 3 weeks before the trade show. And I remember on the first day, one of our German retailers, they're one of the bigger retailers in Germany, they do their own videos. And so we had just released Black Market Estley and Prensado Lost Art. And my father's like, Alec, Bradley, go do this interview, go talk about the cigars. And I'm like, what? Like, I don't know anything about tobacco. What do you mean? And he's like, go talk about it. I'm like the blends? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, can you tell me what they are? Because I don't know anything about the seed variety or the shades or the valleys, the regions, and so they tried to give me a quick tutorial in about 2 minutes, and I had to do it side by side with Alec, and I mumbled and stumbled and made a fool of myself. But then I was like, this is only going to Germany, and hopefully no one in the States is going to see this. So but it's not like it didn't get any better from there, but I've slowly started to come better at doing interviews, maybe a little bit. I don't know yet. Maybe you guys will let me know after we're done.
So I'm smoking the Blind Faith. You guys want to maybe get a little bit into that, and then we can talk about the Gatekeeper?
Yeah, are you talking blend or just story behind it or all of it?
Both, if you wouldn't mind, yeah.
Yeah, so when it came to coming out with starting our own company, it was actually Bradley's idea. And he came to me one day and said, hey, I think we should come out with our own product. And I always thought we would do that just under the Alec Bradley line. And I expressed that to him, and he goes, no, I think we should come out, start our own company. And I was like, so what involvement will Dad or Ralph have in this process? And he said, none. And I said, and I kind of knew how that would go when we pitched it to him. So, but I didn't tell Brad because I didn't want to scare him a little bit. And so we pitched the idea to my dad. He was all about it. He was so excited. And I said, but there's one more thing. You're not involved. And he said, let me think about that a little bit. And, come back and I'll call you when to come back, basically. And he called us back in and he said, "Great, I love the idea, but since I'm not involved, you guys are paying for the production." Oh. And I knew that was probably coming, but I don't think Brad did because his jaw dropped a little bit. and and that was the start of it all. And then from there, I think it took us almost about a year to come out with Blind Faith. Brad, do you want to talk about the blend a little bit since I just went on a rant about that?
Yeah. So for the blend, Alec and I's goal for our brands are to try and offer something that is outside of the Alec Bradley portfolio that may not fit in, but is still our own taste. So for Blind Faith, we wanted a cigar that people would either love or hate. I'd much rather have a small group of people love the cigar than everyone just think it's okay. So we're like, let's go bold. Let's do tons of flavor and a lot of strength. And so the wrapper is a Corojo 98 wrapper with 2 binders, being again Corojo 98 and Corojo 99, and then all the filler, or not all the filler. Getting tongue twisted. The fillers from Esteli and a mix of Ligeros as well. So it really gives that very flavorful Nicaraguan taste and strength to it.
Something that's very interesting about this blend that I'm sure other people have done before, but me and Bradley have never attempted this, so it was very difficult for us, was all the filler is Ligero or Maduro. So it's all very thick, rich filler, which makes it, makes the burn quality extremely tough. But with the proper binders on there, I feel like we were able to achieve a great burn and still give a very complex experience to the cigar.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Okay.
And how long did that take you guys to figure out that you guys needed to use the double binder to kind of get the combustion to go right?
Well, the factory that we work with uses a lot of double binders, but it was specifically what we used what made it work, and tweaking the fillers a lot to make sure that the burn quality was exactly what it needs to be. It was not. That's why it took us basically a year from beginning to end to come out with our cigars, because I think after we found the base blend that we wanted, it took us like another, let's just say around 10 blends before we got it exactly where we wanted it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a long, exhausting experience, but one that we definitely needed to grow as manufacturers.
And I'm sure you guys have done blend tasting with your dad before. What was it like when it was your cigar? I mean, what was the feeling like? Like, man, this is going to be our stuff.
It's a pretty proud moment when you finally get down to your final blend after going through so many, tweaking it and realize you're going in the wrong direction, and then getting back on track and finally getting to your final product and being like, Alec and I looking at each other and be like, this is it. How excited are we? We're on top of the world. And then we realized, well, now we're only at the beginning part. Now we have to figure out, what's the cigar going to look like? How are we going to brand it and market it and have people want to pick it up, which is, for me, the most exciting part.
Right.
But, the feeling of accomplishment that me and Alec got to work together on our own blend after we've seen our father do it for 20 years plus is one of the best feelings I've had in this so far, being in this industry.
Now, Bradley, the artwork was actually your idea for Blind Faith, right?
That is correct.
Is that also for Gatekeeper? Is that something that you did, or?
Well, the concepts are what I usually focus on, in the imagery and the artwork, but at the same time, it's something that Alec and I both have to agree on. Even if I love it and he hates it, we both have to give and take a little bit. So for Blind Faith, because Alec and I are both 90s kids, wanted to be something that spoke to the 90s a little bit, with the SMPTE color bars. And the test check in the background is something that we both remember being on TV when we were little kids. So I wanted to, and I'm sure it's something that everyone older than us would also remember. So I think it kind of spoke to not just us, but something that is recognized by everyone.
Okay.
Bradley has a great eye when it comes to the artwork, and I don't want to say he's stubborn, but he's stubborn about knowing what he wants. And Brad's right. We absolutely have to agree on everything. When it came to Gatekeeper, there was actually a little bit of a different direction at first, and he kind of pushed it to this direction. And I think this is, the way better direction. He was absolutely right for making that decision. And at the same time, Bradley has allowed me to kind of focus more on the blending, which is, at the end of the day, we had to do that because if Bradley and I were both fully into the blending and the artwork, we'd probably never get anything done. So I focus a little bit more on the blending. He focuses a little bit more on the artwork, but we have to agree on everything at the end of the day, which I think makes for a better product at the end.
Yeah.
See, I understand 100% where you guys are coming from. You guys are brothers. Miguel and I are brothers. I know. You can. And, we each have our own facet of the business that we do. Miguel takes care of, the filming, the photography, the editing, the scheduling, location. And I sit back, I drink whiskey and smoke cigars. So it's like, you got to have that balance,
Absolutely.
He's the older brother, too, of the two.
That's right.
So am I. So there you go.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So the Gatekeeper, which is what Mitch is smoking right now, I absolutely love the band on that thing. I love that kind of subdued black and gray tones with that gold that makes it pop. I think it's fantastic. Let's get into that one, guys. Tell us the blend and then tell us the story behind it.
Bradley, run with it, dude.
Yeah, so the blend I can't fully disclose. We worked with Ernesto Perez Carrillo, but it has an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper with a Nicaraguan binder and Dominican Nicaraguan fillers. So it's a medium, maybe just a tad above medium strength. So you kind of get this nutty leather cocoa, very rich and smooth cigar. And the Gatekeeper is really inspired by Ernesto. Alec and I, because
hold on, I gotta take a sanitizer bath now.
Part of what we're trying to do is to continually do something different than what Alec Bradley offers. So we wanted to do something in the Dominican Republic, which Alec Bradley doesn't. We don't make cigars in Dominican Republic. So we're like, who can we work with there that we could do this with? And Alec and I have both been a huge fan of Ernesto cigars. When I started smoking other people's brands, I fell in love with the La Astoria and the Dusk, and I think a lot of people would hold him in the highest regards in terms of being a master blender and his accomplishments. So we asked Ernesto. He was, thrilled to do this with us and be a part of this project. And so when we were trying to figure out, what are we going to call this thing? What are we going to do? And we were like, let's pay respects to Ernesto and what he's done. And kind of what this will do for us is open some doors for us. It'll put us in a new area for Alec Bradley. And so we said that Ernesto is the gatekeeper. When he opens the gates for us, then we're led onto a new path with new opportunities. And I think that the cigar is our newest opportunity, and it's been very well accepted, and to be honest, a lot better than Blind Face. So it seems like people have been enjoying it quite a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Now, did you work with EP Carrillo on the artwork too? Did he have to give his okay on that artwork, or is he just, hey, it's your guys', you can do what you want with it?
We wanted him very heavily involved on it, and he kind of said, you guys run with the concept, and then let me see what it is at the end.
Okay. And
so we didn't send it to him until it was completely finished, but he fell in love with it. He loved it. He said, this is one of the coolest things I've seen, and he was a big fan of it. So he was very happy with the entire concept.
Yeah, the box is beautiful.
Yeah.
Love the
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. A lot. Pops.
So growing up in a family when your dad started the company, not a lot of people do that, I know none of my friends grew up in a tobacco family. So what was it like, and when did you guys decide that that's what you guys wanted to do? Growing up, when you saw your dad doing it, you're like, yeah, I want to be in the family business, or was it like, a little bit down the road more, you kind of got into it? I mean, how was it?
So from a young age for me, I always just loved business and loved asking my father questions about business. Obviously, I didn't know I loved tobacco until I started smoking it and really getting to understand it. But after dinner, most nights, my dad would go in the backyard, light up a cigar or 5, just because he's smoking through blends. And that was kind of, for a time, that was like our time to just sit down and talk. He'd smoke cigars. I'd ask him about business. Bradley was a little younger, so I think he had to be in bed at a certain time. And then when he got older, he started joining us in those conversations. So it was always a part of my life because I would sit back there while he smoked. And I remember one time I wrote a history paper about tobacco in America. And like, I was always very proud of what my father did. I got a terrible grade on that paper because the teacher did not like that I wrote about tobacco, but that's, besides the point. It's always been a part of our lives. We're always very proud of our father for what he did. And it wasn't until we started smoking that we realized, I think, that this is most likely what we wanted to do moving forward. And I can't speak for Brad, but that's how I felt.
Well, for me, I didn't know I was going to be working at Alec Bradley until basically right when I was graduating, and I don't think any of my family knew either. I took the time to think on, what am I going to do after graduation, and I explored options to an extent, but when deciding on what I wanted to do, I just kind of looked back at my life and saw how much Alec Bradley has given to me and my family for my entire life, pretty much. And just thought, if I get the opportunity to possibly do this for, my future children, and continue what my father's done and, possibly leave a legacy for, the next generation, then that's my ultimate goal for, what I would like my future to be like.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of things that Alec Bradley has done for your family, Alec Bradley's done a lot for your guys' families that help out at the shops or the factory down in Honduras. Do you guys want to kind of talk about that and what you've done with that?
Well, we've always really tried to support the people down in Central America, not just by employing them, but we also, help finance a daycare that's down there for the factory workers. I think everyone in the company gives a percentage of their check every month to that daycare to really take care of the kids. But what we've been doing during the coronavirus was we made sure that we were able to make sure that 700 families of 4 were going to be fed for 30 days while the factories were closed. Yeah, so it wasn't like, hey, should we do this? It was just like, hey, we need to do this to make sure that people down there are taken care of. They support us every day. They work their butts off every day. We need to make sure that these people that, help take care of us, we're able to take care of them.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say on that?
No, just that, like, not gonna add much, but the people that down in the factories at Rice Cabanas, we've grown up with them, and they've grown up with us. So it wasn't really it was an easy decision for my father to make to get food and supplies for all of them and their families for the next couple months. So anything right now to support one another, I think we should all be doing that.
And this isn't something new for you guys. You guys did an ad campaign. I think it was before you were both on board, but where
I was here for that one.
How all the workers are essential, from the people in the fields to the people rolling, all the way up to the sales reps to the B&M tobacconists. Everyone is essential. So this is not something new for you, and I think that's really admirable.
Yeah, because the purpose of that campaign was to show that not one more person is essential than the other. Because I think there was one ad with my father and then one guy that was a roller, and it just goes to show without the rollers, we can't be doing what we're doing, or without the guys in the field. It all has to tie in and come in together for it to work. We can't do it without the other people helping to make this happen.
Right.
Now, for everybody that's just joining us, guys, we're a little over halfway through the show. We have Alec and Bradley Rubin on the show today, and we are running some specials. You guys see those at the bottom right there. If you guys have any questions on the products, you guys can always call that number, and we will get you guys all the information you need. Of course, that's just the number for the shop here. You can also call Cigars More 2 or Cigars More El Segundo if that's closer to you guys. We offer the curbside pickup, home delivery within a reasonable distance. I don't want to drive all that much, guys. I'm not going to lie. And, of course, we do delivery as well. So if you guys want to go ahead and call in, you guys can. We'll ship it to you guys if we need to. So if you guys can remember when you guys were first smoking cigars, what was maybe one of the first – I know you guys brought up EB Cure earlier, but what was one of the first cigars that wasn't Alec Bradley that really caught you guys? You're like, wow, that's really good.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I got to think on that one. I would probably say maybe the Tatuaje Black Label.
Wow, okay.
That was, one that I still smoke today, and I don't think it's ever gotten, you see some cigars that you smoke often take a dip, maybe not taste the same, but consistency is always amazing. And I'm a big Tatuaje fan as well, and always try and pick Pete's brain when I can. So the Black Label is the one.
That was a really good answer. I was actually going to say the Tatuaje La Riqueza or the 601 Blue, or there were so many. Some of the older Rocky stuff that I used to have. There were a bunch of cigars that really helped shape and build my palate at the beginning that are still great today. And actually, what was cool for me was when I started smoking, the shop that I would go to would unban cigars, hand them to me, have me smoke them, and I'd write all my notes, and then they would hand me the band afterwards so I could kind of learn what I liked, what I didn't like, and that's what really led me to building up my palate. But yeah, there was a bunch of cigars then that really, really caught me that I thought were fantastic. Oh, the La Flor Dominicana Factory Press Series, the threes, the twos, the threes were really fantastic. There was a lot.
Wow. Okay.
Awesome. So Mitch brought a cigar with him today. That was the Cigar Dojo collab.
Yeah.
What can you guys tell us about that? Alec, you want to start with that one?
Sure.
Yeah,
so
take the blend.
Yeah, that's a good blend. What happened with that blend was we were down at the factories, and they kind of said blend to our profile a little bit. So if you've ever had any of the dojo releases, then you know that they usually go for some heavy hitters. So I went down, blended 5 unique blends because I wanted to give them 5 different options. And then if they wanted to tweak it at all, at least we had 5 different bases. And I also blended like maybe another 5 to 10 cigars just for us that I needed to work on. And we came down, we had them smoke all the 5 heavy cigars first, and they liked them all, but it wasn't exactly what they were looking for, which was fine. So I grabbed maybe another 3 cigars, and they smoked them like, this is more the direction that we want to go in. And I said, these are all straight medium or medium plus. I thought you wanted something full body. And they're like, oh no, not necessarily. So then I go, okay, well, if this is the direction you want to go down, I got 1 more cigar, but I only have 1 sample left. And you guys are going to have to share it to see if it's what you like. And so I think Eric was actually having a really bad cold at the time. And so everyone smoked it, and he smoked it last to see if he liked it. Jordan smoked it, and then Eric smoked it. And they were like, this is absolutely the cigar. And I go, great. That was potentially going to be our next brand, but now it's yours. And that's Urudoshi.
And
you have a new blend coming out soon, right? Soonish.
Soonish.
Yes.
I'll let Bradley take that.
That's what I'm smoking right now. So I think the segue there is that they're both Japanese themed. Urudoshi was a release that we did, like Alex said, for Cigar Dojo for Leap Day. So Urudoshi is Japanese for Leap Day. There it is. So that cigar was only sold on February 29th. And the plan is the next time we release it will be in 4 years. on the next leap day. So, so now we announced our newest brand. It will be called Kintsugi. So Kintsugi is a Japanese art form of piecing back broken pottery. So whether it's a vase or a plate or a bowl, you piece it back with gold lacquer. So within the cracks of the bowl or plate, the gold cracks shine through. And so the meaning to the art form is that there's beauty in the imperfections. And I thought it was a great metaphor for our industry right now. As we know, before PCA, we saw people depart from attending the show, and with the FDA, you have all these different organizations that aren't on the same path. We're a very divided industry right now, and weirdly enough, I think that being in this pandemic and doing these virtual shows and seeing different brands and owners get on and all talking to discuss about what they're doing to through these tough times has really brought the industry a lot closer together, which is what I was trying to find for Kintsugi. What is the gold lacquer that brings us all together? Ultimately, it's the cigar itself, but the coronavirus has brought us all, I think, a lot closer together in these really tough times for everyone.
Totally agree.
I can't wait to see the artwork for that one.
Yeah.
I want to see the band.
It's going to be cool. And I see on the bottom, when will they be available? To be determined. They were
supposed to be available next month, but now we're on hold.
Yeah, we were hoping to get it done, by mid-May. But for with everything going on, if there is a trade show, we hope to release it there. And if this goes on a lot longer than expected, we'll try and keep everyone updated as soon as we find out.
Okay.
Now we do have a question here from Miguel, who's slightly off camera over there. What 5 cigars would you want to be quarantined with if you only have 5 cigars over and over?
5 cigars. Okay. I think I could start pretty quick on that. So from us, it would be our Coyol Petit Lancero. That's my all-time favorite cigar. I would go with the Gatekeeper Corona. And then I don't know if it's supposed to be other brands or not, but that's what I'm going to do anyways. I would go with a Padron 1964 Corona.
Maduro or natural? Yeah,
Maduro, definitely Maduro. The Tatuaje Kruger, and maybe I'll say a La Flor de las Antillas Tora. Actually, no, La Flor de las Antillas Lancero.
Okay.
Good choice. Wow.
Top 5.
I am actually going to copy you on the Coyol and the Gatekeeper. And then maybe I would choose like a Tatuaje brown label, just because it's such a great, easy smoke. A Viaje Zombie Antidote, I think is a great cigar.
Okay.
And then the last one's hard. There's so many good ones. Maybe a little Flor Dominicana Factory Press 3s. Something I would go with.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's a good question.
So I'm getting from Bradley that you're more of a small ring gauge guy, huh?
We both are.
Yeah. Okay. I'd like to. Is that something that you guys try to blend for also, or is that kind of an afterthought? I know it's not super popular in the industry, so.
We're actually trying to release a smaller size on every brand we come out with. I know you haven't seen it so far from Blind Faith, but we've been working on it pretty much the entire time that Blind Faith has been out. It's just we haven't gotten the blend right yet on the size. You see the Corona from the Gatekeeper, and then on the Kintsugi, we're also working on a smaller ring gauge size.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
we want to be able to smoke, our stuff in smaller sizes as well, not just make the standard stuff that may sell more.
Yeah.
As a lot of people do. But if we can enjoy our own cigars on our own size that we like, then that's the goal. It works out best. It works out best for everyone.
Yeah, I'm a big Lancero guy personally, and that's just Mitch. When I started smoking cigars, it was always Robusto Toro. He's like, man, you got to try when people blend stuff in a Lancero. Yeah. It's like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And man, that rocked my world right there. I'm a big Lancero guy now. So anytime I can find Lanceros, I'm definitely buying those.
Yeah.
I get it. We actually blended blind faith in a lawn sale, and we just haven't gotten the blend exactly right yet. So I don't want to release something until I think it's perfect and it's something I want to smoke every day. But hopefully that we get that done soon. That'd be great.
No.
Do you guys?
Go ahead.
Sorry. Do you guys have any Lanceros that you can recommend to us that we should try?
Yeah.
Oh, I absolutely can.
Can I let you on first?
No, because you're gonna name something I like. So no, you cannot mention it. For me personally, there's two that I'd say three that I really like. The Traveling Man from Haram and Solomon. It's a purple band. You've got the Oliva Series V, the original.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah, it's a good one.
And Viva La Vida from Artesano del Tobacco, AJ Fernandez.
That's one I was actually going to mention too.
Yeah, those three they're phenomenal. They really are.
We actually used to make Memphis in a Lancero, and that thing was fantastic.
I didn't know that the Viva La Vida came in a Lancero.
It's an exclusive that they did for Luxury Cigar Club. But it was really good. I was actually down in San Diego at an event, and David, who's one of the three guys that owns it, was there. And, we're good friends, and he was talking, and he goes to grab a cigar, and I'm like, whoa, what's that? He's like, oh, that's not coming out yet. I was like, what is that? He's like, it's a Lancero Viva. I was like, is that coming out soon? He's like, yeah, it'll be out in a few months. Here, go ahead and take this one. I was like, I will. Thank you. They're fantastic. They really.
Someone actually just asked me the other day if we can make Magic Toast in a Lancero, which I think that would be fantastic.
Now, talking about the smaller ring gauges as opposed to the larger ones, can you kind of maybe explain to people why you have to blend it a certain way for people that understand, maybe what the difference goes into blending a larger to a smaller ring gauge cigar?
For sure. Yeah. Do you mind if I take that, Brad?
Please.
So back in the day, a lot of cigars used to be blended off Coronas, and then they would just kind of go up from there just based off the standard Cuban sizes. But now a lot of things are blended off a 50 or a 52 Toro. And the reason for that being is because now since people are smoking such large ring gauges, it's easier to start on a middle ground and go up in size and go down in size than starting on something as small as a Corona and going all the way up to a 60 or even a 70. But what happens on the sizes is that wrapper adds a lot of flavor to a cigar. So when you look at the circumference of the cigar, the larger that you go, you get less wrapper to binder and filler ratio on a larger cigar than you do on a smaller ring gauge. You get a lot more flavor from the wrapper, which is really supposed to shine through on a Corona Lancero Lonsdale because there's more wrapper to binder and filler ratio on a smaller ring gauge. So that's kind of how that all works and why someone like everyone on here likes the smaller ring gauge because you're really getting that full flavor from that wrapper, which is really supposed to shine through.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry if I nerded out a little bit on that.
It was a good explanation.
Yeah.
Just checking the comments real quick. Isaac says that the Gatekeeper in a Lancero would be awesome. I would definitely agree with that.
I agree.
Yeah.
We actually tried it in a Lancero and in the Corona, and the Corona just had the perfect flavor and the Lancero was still good, but just not what that Corona was. So that's why we decided to go with the Corona over the Lancero.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just going over the questions here that we had to make sure we hit everything. Oh, here we go. Here's one that I didn't mention. When you guys aren't doing blend tasting, because I know it's probably a lot different, when you guys are sitting down enjoying a cigar, is there any kind of ritual that you have, any certain way that you cut and light, just taking your time kind of a thing?
Yeah. For me, if I usually, my cut of choice is a punch, but I actually don't even carry punches anymore because they always break off my keychain for whatever reason. So now I generally just use a straight cut or my nails half the time. And if I am just, having a ritual smoking, I'll cut my cigar. I usually light with a standard soft flame versus a torch, and pour myself a glass of whiskey if I have the opportunity to. So that's just kind of my ritual.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing too special. Just hop out on my small patio and grab the closest cutter. I have been noticing I've been gravitating towards a V cut more recently. I don't know if anyone else gravitates towards a V cut, but V cut and whatever torch happens to have butane in it, that's the one I grab until it dies, and then I have to find one of these guys lying around my house.
Okay.
You're not alone on that, Bradley.
Yeah. Where do you think I get them from?
My office. I know where you get them from.
Yeah.
So if you guys are going to maybe describe to people what a perfect day of smoking Alec Bradley cigars was, you wake up with your coffee, you have this cigar, you have a lunch, you have that cigar, maybe late afternoon you have a cigar, and then after dinner, maybe late evening you have another cigar. What would you guys run down the line for those?
So I'd say Coil for every single part of it. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. No, I would do my morning go-to is an American Classic Corona, which most people have tried our Classic Connecticut or the Sun-Grown from our American line. And then, evening or, middle of the day, I would probably go with a Black Market Esteli Churchill if I have a lot of time, which I usually do. And then I would probably end it with a Prensado Corona Gorda, which I just pulled out a box of so I can take home to smoke.
Nice.
So I'm just going to throw in one little thing. Bradley doesn't know this. I'm going to tell him this for the first time right now. But I actually picked the final blend for Coyol, the cigar that you smoke every single day.
Wow.
I picked that blend.
No, you didn't.
Yeah. I'm not trying to ruin the cigar for you.
No,
I picked that blend. Yes, I did.
You're lying. Don't lie. Don't lie to all the viewers, okay?
You can ask Ralph tomorrow. I picked that blend. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to ruin the cigar for you when that happens.
Nice.
You're such a liar.
I'm not a liar.
He picked that especially for you. He knew that was going to be the one that you loved.
There you go.
What was that?
I said you picked it especially for him because you knew that was the one he loved. That's brotherly love right there. I mean,
exactly. So if I had to pick my breakfast cigar, I would actually. This probably sounds messed up, but I'd probably start with Blind Faith with my coffee. I would go with a strong espresso and a strong cigar together. It's just a great pairing for me in the morning. Probably right after lunch, I would go with a Coyol Petit Lancero, and finishing at night, I would pick up the 2019 Fine and Rare.
Nice.
Oh, that's actually going to bring me to my next question. The Fine and Rare line that you guys do. Can you guys maybe elaborate on those, what they are?
Yeah. So the Fine and Rare series is something my dad wanted to do. And the funny thing is we actually don't make any money on that cigar just because it costs us so much to do. It's more just to show off what our capabilities are. And it's 10 different types of tobacco that we source years in advance for the upcoming releases. And every year it's slightly different, but and we do a different size, whatever it may be. But it's 10 different tobaccos. It's just to showcase what we can do and our passion for the cigars. For most people that don't know, most cigars have 5 to 6 different tobaccos in it. So we wanted to really show our capabilities with being able to take 10 unique different tobaccos and put them together. And every year we do something a little bit different, but the 2019 was in honor of mine and Bradley's grandfather that passed away just a little bit over a year ago, because he was such a big part of our lives, and we got to work with him every day for years, and it was just very special for us.
And it also comes in, we make about 2,500 boxes every year, and they come in 10-count boxes.
And John saying that he could hear your dad laughing in the background, and he's smoking himself a 2014 Fine and Rare right now.
Nice.
I'm sure he is.
So
I'm sure he is.
Question for you. Do you have a favorite Fine and Rare?
I like the 16. I don't know why, but every time I'm in the humidor, that band always pops out at me. So that's probably the one I have the least amount of still, but that one's probably my favorite. I have not had the 19 yet, though.
So the funny thing for me, what were you going to say, bro?
I wanted to ask Mitch a similar question because he is probably the biggest Alec Bradley fan out there. One, what is your favorite Alec Bradley? Two, what's your favorite limited edition that we come out with? And then three, what do you think is the most underrated Alec Bradley cigar?
Ooh, okay. Currently, my favorite is the Magic Toast. I've been pursuing it for years. It was a shop exclusive for a couple years, I heard. I was always trying to get it, and it's always on the East Coast, and I was never able to get it. So when you guys released it, I was all over that. That's currently my favorite. Probably an underrated one, I would say, would be the Tempest. I think it gets overlooked a lot just for the Prensado, because the Prensado's got that reputation behind it. And then limited. Now, are we talking limited as far as like limited release or limited to a shop or?
But anything limited that you may have had, or our three limited releases that we usually do are the Filthy Hooligan and now the Shamrock, and then the Nicopuro Diamond and our Fine and Rare. So it could be a store exclusive or one of those limited editions. Just anything that's maybe a little bit harder to get that you've had.
So of all those, probably for me is the Diamond. And when I buy those, I always buy them by the box because I love the box, how you kind of have it set as a diamond. And my wife loves those too. So that would probably be it. And then, I can always get the original size kind of throughout the year. So, when I smoke through it, I can go back to something that's similar enough for me. But every time I see it online, I make sure I buy a box.
Nice.
Now, when you guys are coming up with new stuff, how often are you thinking to yourselves, is Mitch going to like this?
Every time.
I know.
Every time.
A little bit of harasser to John. I'm sure he knows. Whenever something comes out, or if I hear about, no, they don't send me stuff. They're not supposed to do that. But whenever you guys come out with new swag or anything, I'm always hitting them up. Hey, where do I buy it? But yeah, I would hope that you don't take me into consideration because I'm not like other guys. Anything you guys so.
Thank you, Mitch. We appreciate that.
And Lars is popping on saying that's a powerful mustache right there. I hope he's doing well. I haven't seen him since last IPCPR either. Now PCA, of course.
Yeah.
So in a normal day, I know these aren't normal times, but in a normal day when you guys are at the office working, how many cigars do you guys go through?
I guess it really depends if we're blending or not. Brad, what would you say?
Normal day, I smoke probably average 3 or 4.
Okay.
That's probably where I'm at.
For me, if we're going through test blends, I probably go through 7. Just because I might get an inch into something, 2 inches into it, realize it's enough for me, and move on. And if it's a normal day and we're not smoking test blends, depending on what I'm doing that day, I mean, sometimes I have a hard time getting through one cigar just because I'm having to relight it so many times. Or if it's, a day where I can just sit at my computer and do my work, probably 3 or 4.
Okay.
Awesome.
What about you guys?
How many do you go through a day? Now that you're home more.
Now that I'm home, I'm working from home. I'm doing 2, maybe 3 a day. My average though is really like maybe 1 a day, maybe. But mainly, I've got a little 4-year-old at home, so he takes a lot of my time.
Oh, good. I'm right around 3 a day usually. You know, if I jump on the morning show with Miguel, I'll have one. While we're doing work, I'll have another one, and if we do a show, of course, I'll have another one if we're reviewing. So 3, maybe once in a while 4. But yeah, that's usually where I sit. On that.
Now I do have a question for you. I don't imagine your dad will be stepping down anytime soon. He'll always be there, but let's just say hypothetically, if he were, do you guys see yourselves taking over the Alec Bradley brand, stepping in his shoes, or is that something that you just don't think you'd ever be able to do?
I think that a very good question, and I think a very sensitive question for both me and Alec. But one, yeah, I don't see him stepping down anytime soon. But if we do get the opportunity to fill his shoes, they're definitely very big shoes to fill. But I think, and I don't want to speak for Alec, but I think we both can imagine ourselves, sitting in that seat and getting the chance to run this company is something I think we both desire.
Yeah, the nice thing about Brad and I is that we actually we're very different people, have very different interests in every single way. Right. And so he gets involved with certain parts of the company that I don't, and I get involved with certain parts of the company that he doesn't. So I think between the two of us, when that day comes, or if it comes, whatever it may be, I think we're both well versed in different parts of the company and would be able to handle that.
Divide and conquer.
Yeah, that's what we do with our brands now, or with the Alec and Bradley brand now, and I think that it makes the most sense for us moving forward. Just because if we both shared all the responsibilities, Bradley would kill me in my sleep. So. Yeah.
Exactly. So, can you guys tell us maybe one of the best parts of working with your brother, and maybe one of the negative things about working with your brother? I know Miguel would say, I'm super difficult to work with. I don't know what it is about my personality, but if I go a day without making him mad, I feel I haven't done my job.
I've been there.
So that's just something I'm really, really good at. And it's taken 20 some odd years to really hone my skills, but I've done it. But if you guys can, like, what's one of the best things about working with family? Maybe one of the things that kind of gets in the way.
I mean, I think the best part is the fact that we're doing this together. Obviously we grew up together, and to continue our lives on the same path side by side is the most rewarding part. And getting to work with our father, and at one point our grandfather, to have 3 generations at one point all in the same office. It's nothing specific except for the fact that we all got to see each other every day and be together every day. It's something that most people don't get to experience. So we're very fortunate in that regards. And then the negative part is the fighting. Constant arguments. It's very difficult to separate, the family and being brothers from the business, because it's always there, and that the way that we interact is always us being frustrated with each other. Everyone knows that I'm stubborn, but I'm way more stubborn towards Alec, and and he knows that for sure, and I even know that for sure. So and for Alec being the older brother, the challenging part for me is that he's my older brother. So whether he knows more or thinks he knows more, he's always looked out for me. So he's always trying to, guide me into the right direction. But sometimes I just want to say, Alex, stop fucking guiding me. Let me figure it out. I hope I can curse. So, it's great overall. I'm very lucky, but the day-to-day stuff is where it gets challenging.
So it's really funny that you say that, because it kind of goes into what I was going to say a little bit. But when Brad first started working here, it really changed the dynamic of what my role was, because we were at each other's throats for probably the first 6 to 8 months, constantly, just going at it. And we had to have like a lot of conversations to talk each other down and kind of get back on the same page a little bit. But after Blind Faith release, we figured out a way to work together to where we still disagree every day, but we're not at each other's throats. We just know we're having a disagreement. It's a lot more relaxed, and we work through it together, which is very nice. And that's probably still the worst part, is that we disagree on everything. But at the end of the day, the fact that we're disagreeing is actually a good thing, because I think we come out with a better product because we do disagree so much. So that, even though it's a bad thing, I think it's also a good thing. And then the best part, which Brad doesn't think is the best part apparently, is me having more experience within the industry, because I really started getting into it when I was 18, and Brad was a few years older when he started getting into it. Was me being able to guide him and help him throughout this process, because it made me proud to see him do well. And I know sometimes from what he just said that he wants me to not do that and just let him figure it out for himself. But the times that he's thanked me for helping guide him is really the most rewarding part for me.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Going on in the future, I know you guys have a new blend that you guys are coming out with, and is there any other maybe tobacco out there that you guys want to work with, or maybe another manufacturer that maybe you want to do a collaboration with, anything like that?
Yeah, for me, and Alec and I talk about this a lot. Something that I think everyone's trying to get their hands on right now is broadleaf. If I could do something with Connecticut broadleaf, so a lot of my favorite cigars are, use that tobacco. That's number one on my list. And in terms of working with someone, again, the list goes on, but I think either Pete Johnson from Tatuaje or Nick Melillo from Foundation would be at the top of my list.
That'd be cool. I'd like to see some Foundation.
Yeah. For me, I love experimenting with all types of tobacco, whether it be broadleaf, ometepe. I recently started thinking about Italian tobacco, Brazilian tobacco. There's a lot of stuff I just want to experiment with. I don't know if it will end up coming out in a blend. If I can source it and get my hands on it, absolutely. If I can blend it well, I definitely want to do it. And Brad, who'd you say for collaborations?
Tatuaje or Foundation?
I would actually want. There's a long list of people I would love to collaborate with, but those are two that I would definitely want to work with, as well as, I would love to work with LaFleur in some kind of capacity. Or there's a long list that Brad and I have talked about of people we would love to work with. Will it ever happen? That's more up to them than it is to us. But yeah, we're open to working with everyone.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Any last questions before we get going? No?
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. You guys, we were at time. We want to thank you guys for being on. Is there anything else you guys want to let us know, or you guys have to say before we take off?
Yeah, support your local tobacconists right now. I think it's extremely important. Even if you're not able to get to a shop that has, curbside pickup or online ordering, leave them a good Yelp review, Google review, whatever it may be, because every little bit that you can do helps. If there's someone that you support that you like, go out there and support them, because these are tough times, and it seems like we're starting to get to the tail end of it, hopefully a little bit. But if not, make sure you're just supporting your local tobacconist.
Awesome. That was good. Also, follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Alec Bradley Cigar. Alec Bradley, just see what we're up to, see what we're doing. We're getting on a lot of these and just trying to connect with all cigar smokers and everyone that we can. So, thank you guys for having us on and giving us the opportunity to talk with your listeners and your viewers. We really appreciate what you guys are doing right now.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for being on. I want to thank everybody that tuned in on Facebook and YouTube. You guys got some great questions in there. Hopefully you got all your answers that you guys were looking for. Again, thank you to you guys for being on.
Thank you for having us. This was a pleasure.
As soon as John hit us up and said, can we make something happen? Miguel and I were like, yes, just tell us when. We're on it.
Awesome.
So, big pleasure. Hopefully we'll see you guys at the next trade show. Any plans, once this is all over, of course, to make a West Coast trip?
Yeah,
always.
That's very, very high up on our list. I've never been out to California for work yet, so California is on my to-do list.
Cool. Awesome. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us. You guys can catch Miguel tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Doing a Great American Morning for you guys. And then, of course, we'll be live again on Saturday night for our final third of the week. And I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. I'm seeing a lot of comments here saying you guys loved it. So thank you guys so much for supporting the show. Don't forget, you guys, donate to Cigars for Warriors as often as you can. You know, they're hurting right now just like everybody else, and they need the support now more than ever. If you guys don't have a local donation center that's open close to you, you guys can always find them online on Facebook and send it directly to them in Florida. Mitch, you want to maybe talk a little about Cigars for Warriors before we go?
They just because a lot of us are out of work at the moment. Military's still out there, still fighting for our freedoms. So anything you can donate, it helps out immensely.
All right, guys, that's gonna do it for us. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and we will see you guys next time. Y'all have a good one.
See you guys.
See you guys.